This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome to the Housatonic Greenway Complete Streets Subcommittee. This is Harold Watson, Committee Chair. Due to the coronavirus pandemic, we are conducting regular monthly meetings on gotomeetings.com on Wednesday, July 6, 2022 at 12 noon. Quorum for this meeting is 6, and I will now call the following elected members to speak up as present. Karen Burke.
Here.
Tom Dillon.
Here.
Ellen Freint.
Here.
Yay. Christopher Green.
Here.
Nels Pearson. George Purim.
Here.
Jennifer Sheldon. James Simon.
Here.
Harold Watson here. Sarah Graham. Brian Sturbis.
Here.
Oh, here. Thank you, Brian. Joseph Garrix. Karen Rodia. John Staley. Smith Tata is not here today, but in her place is Jay Abansky. Can we all welcome him, please, for stepping up?
Here, present.
And our recording secretary, who really is the boss, Aileen Marsh, is here today. We might have John Casey. I don't know. John, are you here? Don't see him.
No, but Nels Pearson has arrived, Harold.
Nels has arrived. So listen, if we were given points for attendance, we are doing phenomenally well with our committee. So thank everybody for appearing. Before I call the meeting to order, I'd like to remind everybody to raise their hand. If they want to be recognized, wait to be recognized, called on each and every time throughout the meeting. Please give your name whenever you can remember to. With that said, I call to order this special session of Stratford Housatonic Greenway Complete Streets Subcommittee of Planning. The first item on our agenda is a call to order and then an approval of minutes. Will someone please give me a motion for approval of our last minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Yes, I see a majority. I'm not going to count off, but it looks like there are enough hands to pass this. Is that okay, Aileen?
Yes.
Okay. We are now going into our comments on phase 2 status and then we'll follow that up with a complete streets phase 1 status, and then we will talk about next steps and follow by an adjournment. If you're not all aware, so Smith is visiting her home country this month. So in her stead is Jay. I don't want to put him on the spot too much because he doesn't have to follow along as much as Susmitha does. But Jay, do you have any comments on where we stand with part 1, phase 1, and with the new with the new selection of a company for phase 2? Could you just speak?
Yeah, I have Susmitha as primary staff member representing our office on this project, as you all know, and I know she works closely with John Casey, so I am somewhat out of the loop on this project, but I know that we've got phase 1, I believe, in complete designs. I'm looking through Susmitha's our shared drive, but it appears that the path is locked, so I can't get the up-to-date status for you all. But and then I believe we've got BSC, who has been selected for phase 2 design. Just incidentally, we've got BSC completed the complete streets design for Stratford Center, and they are a finalist for the phase 2 for our complete streets project, which will essentially link up with our Greenway network. I mean, that's kind of the information that I have right now in front of me. So I'm sorry if I don't have a lot of detail for you at the moment.
Jay, may I put you on the spot? I know you might not have the answer. Does this mean
Sure.
that that DOT has given final approval on phase 1? That's what we were being held up by is the final approval.
You're talking about Stratford Center, Harold?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so, I'm not sure how much everybody knows, but DOT, with their change of their retirement plan, I know they had an exodus of staff leave, and a 1.5-year project added about a year and a half of just review and wait time for our 30%, 60%, 90% design. We believe that after talking with OPM and DOT just this week, we believe that the final revisions, which we believe are very minor changes to our 100% design, that we should have those by the end of this week. We anticipate that BSC will be able to turn those around over the weekend and be back in their DOT's hands for the final blessing, so that we can receive our $200,000 in reimbursement for the grant that paid for all of this. Who knows what's going to happen once it gets back in their hands? A 1-month review turns into a 6-month review. So we just try our best to put polite pressure on them, and they're under tight constraints, so we certainly understand that, but we're continuing to keep pressure on them and keep these projects marching forward.
And may I make an addition to what Jay is saying? I'm happy to hear, Jay, what you're reporting. Once again, the God is in the details. I've had discussions with Susmitha before she left, and we are reaching a critical mass point. At some point, given what occurs in the next month, we'll determine whether we as a Greenway committee will begin writing letters and contacting parties involved at both MetroCog and at the DOT with some insistence on some kind of work schedule of where we see proceeding in terms of us being able to go out to bid on the project and us actually seeing construction begin on phase 1. Otherwise, we are just truly planning with no idea of when we're ever going to build anything, which for me is incredibly frustrating. But because this project, phase 1, dates all the way back to 2016. So we are really going on an endless loop that we need to find a way to break that. It's not that people are unaware. Everybody involved is aware of how much we've gotten stuck in this loop. Everybody that's involved, all parties, are trying to find a way to break it and for us to move forward. But at some point, us as a committee will need to step in if nothing occurs. Yes, Jay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, yeah, and I just wanted to reiterate that not only is there polite pressure coming from myself on a weekly basis to the DOT, but MetroCog as well. I mean, I'm CC'd on every one of their emails to all the higher ups at DOT, and they are certainly advocating on our behalf. We think that because the project is so far along that we are nearly there. I'm hoping that phase 1 we have our certificate of approval within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So
I could suggest individually, guys, for you to deliver a polite letter to support our mayor in her part on this. Look, she's done a great job with helping to move this forward. But if you could write her a simple email saying that you support her efforts and that, don't go into a lot of detail, but just send her something so she knows she has our committee behind her with what she's trying to do, because she sits on MetroCog and she's one person on MetroCog. So, but that might help her feel that that we have her back. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it up to you. Yes, ma'am, Karen.
Sorry, I had to put on my microphone. So we just support her in her efforts from Greenway for MetroCog. And that's METROCOG?
Metro, METROCOG.
Okay, thank you.
Jay could probably get you a email address to carbon copy it to our person there. Is that
Okay.
possible, Jay? Or
Yeah,
could
I'm not sure what the purpose of the letter is, so maybe I'm misunderstanding.
the only purpose is to say that we support you in your efforts, particularly at this critical time.
Yeah, and MetroCog acts on our behalf, so we give them the direction, and they help us to achieve our goals. So, yeah, I mean, if you'd like to write a letter to both the mayor and Matt Folda, who's the executive director of MetroCog, expressing your support, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Karen, go ahead. You're asking.
Jay, can you just say that name again? It's Matt, M-A-T-T?
Correct. Folda, F-U-L-D-A.
One more time, please.
F-U-L-D-A. Sorry, I'm yelling at a phone across the room.
And can you give us his address so that we can CC him on it?
Absolutely. I'm just pulling it up right
Okay, great.
now.
There is a chat function, so it could be typed into that.
Roger that. So you guys can continue. I'll cut and paste the email in the chat.
Thank you, Jay.
Jay, would you also
bet.
put Laura Hoydix in there so that you have both of them? Guys, please make sure that this is a positive email. I don't want to create any controversy. I just really want to create support. So let them know that we will do anything that we can to help them, that we're in support of them. But I think it would be a good time for us to move things forward. We're trying our best to create a new relationship when we go to the next phase from Paradise Green down to Barnum. So we want to be more vocal, we want to be more supportive, but we want to do it in a positive way so that people don't go running and hiding from us. So far, I think we have a pretty good reputation, and I want to make sure we try to keep that. So honestly, Jay's comments really cover Greenway phase 2 and phase 1 of where we stand right now. They're both at a critical point. I still hope that we can get closer. In speaking with John Casey, we are closer when we get this approval to actually having the ability to begin to put out things for bid, but that hasn't happened yet, and it's only 10 of us against the world. So if there's any other discussion on item 2 and 3, I'd love to hear it if you guys have any comments. No?
I just had a quick question there on the letter. Would it be good to have all of our individual signatures on one letter?
No, just everybody make sure that you put yourself down as member of the Complete Streets, Stratford, Housatonic, Greenway. That's absolutely fine if they're individual.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was just wondering. What would be better? Would you have one message with every one of our names on it undersigned, or individual letters? It might be
I would
If you-
rather see 10 emails coming in, but
Okay.
go ahead, Jay.
I'm happy to do it. Happy to do it. Because like I said, I spoke with her about it. She came to a garden planting over here in Paradise Green, and, we spoke about it, and she seemed like she wanted to see it go through, but I didn't get too deep in the weeds with her about the whole thing. But
Dale, no, I don't question. She wants this to go through.
yeah. All right. So I'm happy to send
And I
a note.
I do not want anybody to infer that our planning and zoning department is not doing due diligence.
Right.
And that Mr. Casey is not working hard on it. We have all put in huge amounts of efforts for a number of years. I just want people to know that in all the darkness, there are 10 people who are fully in support of this happening. I think it would be really good. So, anybody else? Yes, Jay.
Mr. Chairman, might I recommend that maybe you have one member of the commission here draft a letter on behalf of the entire commission or in the name of the chairman, and then that can be supported by, the committee here can vote, unanimously to support the letter. That way, maybe we avoid flooding anyone's inbox with multiple emails, multiple letters. I mean, that's typically how I would recommend to have a supporting letter sent from a committee.
Jay, I don't disagree with you, except if we do that, we're not going to get anything to them until August. By that time, we'll be beyond our critical dates. So I'm hoping that this is something, doing it individually, we can get it done. I know that we
Zeroed
have
in on my years as a bureaucrat here.
Sorry, I'm gonna step on on your bureaucracy for a sec, because I just think that I know the passion in everybody here. So I would love everybody to know that we have a passionate crew, that Stratford is not just sitting around not thinking actively about this. And I think that it would be good for the mayor to know that we are supporting her, so that she's speaking up. Believe me, I don't have any question about that. So, and I know that Jay and Susmitha and John Casey are really also pushing wherever they can. I just want them to know that it's also users that are involved in this, that we're all users of some kind, and that we represent everybody in town who are users. Nels, you're actually okay. You're right. We could do a joint letter on top of individual letters if you would like. If someone wants to, you should all have a list of all of our emails. If someone wants to compose a letter and simply type in everybody's names, we would have no chance of being able to sign it. We could do that also. We could make a vote if someone wants to make a motion.
I would move that we appoint someone to write a letter and just sign everybody's name who's currently here in this meeting, without having to put individual emails. So I would move that we appoint somebody to write a letter and sign everyone's name here today.
A friendly amendment? Can we make that be Nels? Anybody second that?
Second.
Nels, would you mind doing that?
Yeah, no, I'll certainly do that. I might just need the exact language to reference the current stage that it's at.
I wouldn't even bother with it. I would just simply mention completion of the design completion of phase 1 and the beginning of phase 2.
Okay, sure.
That would be enough, I think, for us. Anybody concerned with this on the outside of us knows what these projects are.
Gotcha.
Yes, Karen.
I like the idea of one letter. My only concern is if we leave the people off that aren't in today's meeting, you know, I don't want anyone to take offense that they were left off. I don't know how to handle that, but,
The only person that's not here today is Jennifer Sheldon and Sarah Graham. Brian could go back to Sarah Graham.
Yeah, I'll
My
talk
other-
to Sarah.
my other
That's not a
suggestion would be just to have, Harold as the chair, your name representing the entire committee. I mean, that's another way to handle it.
Karen, they know me. What I'm trying to do is introduce fresh blood.
Oh, okay,
They hear me rattle on all the time.
right.
So,
Well, I mean, maybe you could write, well, okay, I just don't want to, I want to be inclusive and not leave anybody out.
well, the only person we're missing is John Staley, Karen Rodia, Joseph Garrix, and Jennifer Sheldon. We could simply just add them to the email list and say, tell us
Yeah, I
if you
can't
want to.
imagine they would object to it. I mean, it's a nice thing to do.
Right.
So,
I
yeah.
don't think that they would find a
Okay.
problem.
All right.
Yes, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, we can just email the draft to the whole Greenway committee, and we could either sign in text, or if you just take a quick picture of your signature on paper, it's pretty easy to copy and paste that into one letter, you know, if somebody knows how to insert images.
Nels.
Yeah, I could probably do this with just a draft where you can type a signature into the, you know, just to the bottom of it rather than copy and paste in a written signature. I think that'd probably be the easiest way to do that. But there might be a software program where I could do it in PDF. But, I'll try to just get it out pretty quickly though, so that we can, if I can't figure out an easy way to do actual handwritten signature GIFs, I'll just.
Can we make this easier on ourselves?
Yeah.
Can we just simply type in everybody that's on our current list?
I agree.
Eileen can give you, whoever's doing this, a copy of that if need be. She can email that even though she's on vacation this week.
Yeah, actually, that's true. If we've got enough quorum here to vote for the letter, and then I can word it so that it's signed by the committee, and then the committee members are listed. So,
right.
Yeah.
And we could say the committee present voted, the majority committee present voted in favor of this, and that includes the people that were not there. If they don't want to be involved, they can ask their name to be removed.
Right. Okay, that's easy enough.
So that, I think, gets us. It still gives everybody the option, because Jay put up the individual emails, that for you to write your own note saying, I'm a member and I want to make sure that personally you understand my personal support for this. So you can do both. So can we do a vote on this? This means that, Nels, you can move forward on this and just email it to everybody?
Yes. If could somebody just shoot me a updated most current committee roster?
Yeah,
make sure
that should be on the email that you got from Aileen with this week's meeting notice.
Oh, that's true. Okay, easy enough. I'll just
So if you just
reply all
copy
of that.
that into your email, that'll give you everybody there. But do me a favor, please remove Susmitha, and please remove Aileen, because they shouldn't be forced to sign onto this. Then we'll end up with just our committee members.
Okay.
Unless you want to be on it, Aileen. No. Okay. See, I guessed right.
Excuse me, Harold.
Yes, sir.
This is Joe Garrix. Just to confirm that I'm in attendance. I had a little trouble logging on today. I'll check that out with Aileen later.
I just marked you here. And I know that Aileen got you. She's great with keeping up with everything. So
Harold?
we need to have a motion. We need to have a motion. Yes, ma'am, Aileen?
I just wanted to, this is Aileen Marsh, Secretary speaking. Nels, I just want to add that you'd also want to remove John Casey's name from that email group.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I'll email you an attendance sheet that I have for this, and that will list everybody's individual email addresses if that's easier for you.
Perfect.
Okay. So let's see. So that's Susmitha, Aileen, and who else? I'm sorry.
John Casey.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. That's easy enough.
Thank you, Nels.
Sure.
So we need to vote on this. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No, no opposition. So whatever it is, 8-1 or 7-1 or 6-1, majority. Now let's go on to our next. We have very little. I have to give you an apology. The next steps. We had an incredibly successful. I don't know. Did we meet to discuss what we did for Stratford Day? Have we already met and discussed that? Anybody remember our committee discussing that?
I don't think so. I don't think we've discussed it.
Okay, we
Not
had
added.
haven't met since then.
we had an incredibly successful Main Street Day. For the first time, Main Street Festival had a bike parking lot in which we had about 28 people who parked their bikes, who came to the event on bicycle and parked it in our Complete Streets Greenway sponsored parking lot. And then we had about the same number that went on our first bike ride from Shakespeare to Long Beach and back. So that event was incredibly successful. We have captured as many emails as we could, and we're working in conjunction with the Recreation Department in registering all of those people that ride with us with a release for liability from the town. So anybody who rides in any of our rides in the next couple months will have to sign that release. You only have to do it once. Our first two rides were very successful. For our July rides, I'm sorry, I did not do the June 3rd ride. Sorry. I was not able to do the July 3rd ride from Baldwin Center to Pleasure Beach, and I will try to reschedule that in the next month and a half. But we do have a ride coming up this Thursday, July 7th, from Booth Park to Sikorsky Bridge. That's a ride that has two hills in it. So whoever does that, you might end up walking a portion of it. So far, I haven't got anybody saying they want to do that ride. And if I don't get 4 or 5 people, I'm gonna cancel that ride because it's a lot of work on my part.
Harold,
I haven't seen any emails about that. Who are you sending out emails to?
It's on.
Yeah, I've offered to work with Harold to put out to push this out on Facebook and emails. I'll be happy to do so. Harold has certainly put out the master calendar.
It's on the
I
master
can do that today.
calendar. Guys, I'm sorry. That's a lot of just getting this together is a lot of work. So it's on the master calendar, and I try as each event comes. I did not do it on the last one because I had a medical emergency. Nothing happened for the last one. But
Harold,
I give a note a couple days before the ride, and then I check based on who signs up saying they want to do the ride. If I don't see anybody saying they want to do the ride, then I just cancel it. So
how do you sign up?
you simply you go to the posting where I say this is the ride that we're riding on, and I say leave me a comment if you're going to come.
Where is this posted?
It's posted under Stratford Housatonic Greenway on Facebook.
Oh, it's on Facebook. Okay. Yeah, so I'm not on Facebook. There's probably a lot of people who aren't. We should probably have it on the Stratford website too.
The problem is that we can't, in order for that Stratford website is part of the rec department, and us having access to it, we don't have ready access to it right now. So hopefully maybe sometime in the future we will. The only thing, our only commitment with Stratford Rec is that they're offering us their liability, and they're posting up our master calendar ride, which essentially directs them to the Facebook page.
Harold, I was going to pick up those signs sheets from you and kind of push this. Are they ready?
Yeah, they're in an envelope ready for you.
Okay. Ellen, to your point, I'll also push out emails to everybody who signs one of those consent sheets. The problem is their handwriting is so bad that we can't read half of them. But that's another means of contacting people. I'm volunteering to do the publicity on it with Harold.
Hey guys, I started doing this on my own, all by myself in 2016. So it is a lot of work and it's hard to keep it going. And I kind of threw this together when we decided to do our booth at Stratford Day. So look at this as a test. We're building an operation. Hopefully that's not all on my back because it is a lot of work. I'm hoping that someone in here will take over different leadership positions, but we do our best. It's
Harold,
not the primary. Excuse me?
The graphic is terrific, but it doesn't actually say just to contact you to sign up or whatever. Do you want to send me a Word version of this? I can kind of insert that.
There is no Word version of this. All I could find on it was a PDF, so I had to re-edit the PDF. So anybody want to remake it, you're welcome to do it. I managed to take what was the 2018 chart and rejiggle it so that there isn't anything. But that took me a good 3 or 4 hours to do that alone, checking dates that worked for this year. And I tried to match up with some of Tom's Shakespeare Market dates. So I kind of did my best with the time that we had. We're only talking about 2 events a month. Yes, Tom.
Yeah, so I just want to let you know, I want to make sure you have a digital copy you can forward to everybody on email, right?
I sent everybody a digital copy of this.
So that's the latest one?
Through Aileen. I could probably send it again to Aileen and she could send it to everybody on the committee.
Yeah, because I can put them out at both markets, the Monday market at Paradise Green, and I have an info table with all the other events going on in town, and Shakespeare as well. The other one, Jim, if you're going to get involved in this, the other really good location to put that on would be to list it on stratfordcalendar.com. And that's like a calendaring hub that Sterling House is hosting for the town. And that we're trying to build that up as a go-to place for things to do. So that would be another place. And then it's also free to list things in patch.com. It takes a little effort, but you can get a listing on patch.com. So when people are floating through that and Stratford Calendar and the markets, they'll have more opportunities to see that we're trying to get these bike rides off the ground.
There is a feature in Facebook which
Harold, you're okay if I simply
make it? Yeah.
Type this?
Yeah, you're fine doing it. Might not be as pretty, but who cares? Yeah, I'm absolutely fine because I need to, at some point, I need to add in the lighthouse ride, which I haven't even been able to think about yet. Yes, Chris.
The only thing we need to be aware of if we're moving away from Facebook only, which sounds great, is if you're going off of comments on Facebook as to whether to hold it or not, we might, with these other ones, at least need to ask people to RSVP to maybe an email address.
Well, if someone wants to go on Facebook, there is a feature that I found and then I didn't find. There's a feature to set up events on our Facebook page. So each of these could be a feature that you need to click the box, which automatically records your contact your email or your Facebook contact, which will send out notices. That would be the easiest way to do it.
But in terms of these other ways, which is having paper copies in person at events and on other websites, we need to give them a way to RSVP
I
to.
think that's why it says at the top of my form, please
Okay.
go to Facebook page Stratford Houstonic Greenway for updated info, complete rides and map details, and register for rides.
Okay.
So we do need to keep with the Facebook page. Most everybody who's been riding with me has found the information on Facebook. I'm not adverse to anything else, but I think anything we do should say, go to the Facebook page, and then someone should volunteer, if you could, to set up the events within Facebook. Set these up as events within Facebook that would automatically start, people would click the boxes saying they want to go. And that would instantly give us a list of who is going. It's not as important if I know that there are 6 people, I will schedule a ride. I mean, it's not a group ride if there's only 2 people, which one of the rides was. Thank heavens it was Vinny and his girlfriend, who I adore, so I was happy to ride with them. But that's not a bike club. Yes, James.
So let me ask the group, should I put in my own home email address and ask people to confirm if they're going to do it? Then we'll have a better way of knowing the number.
No, that's why I'm saying I don't want to put in my email address. I want people to go to the Facebook page and click on whether they're coming or not. Then everybody knows who's coming.
Okay.
And then we're building a list of who went to this event. We can Facebook those people saying, would you like to attend this next event?
Okay. And I can get those forms off your front step this afternoon?
Yep.
Will do. Hey, I lost contact with you all, so I think it was Tom who was saying, I'll do stratfordcalendar.com, I'll do patch.com as well.
And Tom, you're okay with simply sending them to the Facebook page, correct?
Sorry, I mean, I get that there's got to be a central place and we're building it up, but I think Ellen made the point, not everybody's on Facebook. You know, just there's a huge, especially young people, they're not using
That's
Facebook.
why, as long as you can put it on any other site, as long as you put a link to Facebook, because remember, this is not just a bike club Facebook page. This is the Greenway Houstonic Complete Streets Facebook page. So when we start asking people to come to charrettes and everything else, this is the list of people we're going to ask to come to public meetings that deal with the design phase of phase 2. So it serves dual purposes. And
Yeah,
hopefully we're going to capture people who are bike riders, who are walkers. Yes, Karen.
I think the concern is valid, Harold. I think that if we can, I don't know how to do it yet, I think about it, but if we can get it, keep the Facebook presence, that's good. But it's true, young people are not on Facebook. So if we can figure out how to link 2 sources somehow, that would be good because it creates more of an umbrella. I think the problem is where do you go to say I'm riding or I'm not riding for that particular ride?
Right, and the problem is that we don't have access to the town of Stratford's technology. So it's not like we can post it. There is a Facebook, there's a town site that says Stratford Greenway, but it's just a blank page.
Is there any way somebody can work with the town hall to also post it there maybe? I mean, if we're officially a part of Greenway, is there someone there, like an administrator, that can help us post it there?
Jay.
Yeah, Jay Hibansky. I can probably get it on the town's main page and calendar, and then I'm certainly willing to post it on the planning and zoning webpage. I mean, I'll just be honest with you. I mean, the traffic, there's not a whole lot of traffic there.
Right.
Yeah.
The traffic is social media, and it's certain social media by demographic, I think. You know, I think your older demographic is going to be Facebook. Your younger is going to be TikTok and Instagram.
Jay, do you suggest we somehow get it there as well?
On those other social media platforms?
Yeah.
I mean, I recommend it. You know, I don't have, I'm not on social media myself, but I know a vast majority of the people in their early 40s and around my age, that's where they're getting their news. And I mean, so when we're advertising for the Plan of Conservation and Development, we're going to be doing advertisements for Instagram, hoping that we're going to be able to drive as much traffic as we can through Instagram and Facebook. So, you know, I don't know what the budget is. I mean, do you guys have an advertising budget?
No, we haven't had a dollar. I spent $500 buying banners for us. So we don't have a penny. That's something we need to ask planning to put a line item to town council for us to be able to do something. But that's all a year from now. Nothing that we can do now there is no line item for us.
And so I would recommend that, you know, around, you know, December of this year, to make a note for Susmitha to bring to me as I go to my budget hearings, to maybe include a, you know, $500, $1,000 advertising budget for the Greenway Committee to help you guys promote rides and events, and so that you can, yeah, you're just not going to get a lot of traffic on the town website. You're not.
And the town website doesn't.
I'm happy to include that as part of my budget.
Cool. Do we know, it's Tom Dillon, sorry to jump in. Jay, do we know, or Harold, do we know, is there a email address at Town of Stratford for the Greenway Committee, or is that, there's not like a group address?
No.
Yeah, all right, well, you know, we'll figure it out in steps, I guess.
Guys, remember, this is secondary to the Greenway Committee. As part of the Greenway Committee, our job is to help see it designed and implemented. So I don't want us to become just a bike riding club committee. This is always secondary. The purpose that when I started it was to find a way of capturing people who are avid riders at all levels, because I wanted those voices to be able to speak to the rest of the town when it comes to what we're designing and building. So that still is what I would consider to be the primary purpose of this. Anybody can get on their bike and ride wherever they want to in town as it is. But ultimately, when I sat in on the original charrettes, when Jay was the new kid in town, we didn't have a whole lot of people who rode bikes speaking up. Tom Dillon was there, George Perham was there, I was there, but of this committee, I think that's all that was there. So I want us to have tons of people who might not be involved in town, anything else in town, to be able to know that this is happening and speak to what it's like in multimodal transportation. That's really the purpose of this. My background is marketing, so just think about it. What I want is a list of people who are active and committed, saying, I'm going to be there and speak my mind, make sure that everybody understands it, so that we can raise the importance of this in terms of town discussions. Does that make sense to everybody? That's what I want everybody to hold on to, because that's the critical thing here. Otherwise, we can have a bike club anytime, anywhere. So I'm not saying don't do anything we're talking about with this. We need to do whatever we can to make it as functional as possible, because we need to get, theoretically, we have 40 new names of people who signed up with waivers for bike rides or bike parking. So we need to get back to those people in some way. Right now, that's going to just be an email list, hopefully, or at best, it'll be an email list. And someone can go in and capture all the 135 people who have signed up to the Housatonic Greenway Facebook page. there's tons of people on that site that we don't see in any of our groups. I know that they're avid riders. Chris Pia rides every single day in my neighborhood. Or Chris Pento, I'm sorry, rides every day in my neighborhood. But he's not involved in anything that's governmental. So I don't know if we need to vote on this, but I do think that, James, you're working on coming up with a list and making a digital version of this. Tom, you're working on getting this onto the schedule, correct? And I think that's all we need to do right now. George, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I just have a question kind of going along. Tom started going down the road, and I just wanted to, because I was thinking along the same lines, is there a way that we can, as the committee, have an email that is tied in with the town? Because I think to go along with what you're mentioning, Harold, about, elevating the exposure of the Greenway complete streets, I think if we had an email that went somewhere, I'm not sure where that goes yet. I don't know if it's Eileen or if it's you or whoever, but it would give us a vehicle to send out evites to the world, to understand who's coming to whatever event it may be, whether it's Stratford Day or a bike ride or a special event. And it might be a way to elevate the committee's exposure. And so
I think, George, we did elevate our exposure. Based on the number of people who came to talk to me. People came from the greater Bridgeport business really excited about what we were doing and offering to partner with us on some kind of a project. So the mayor came by thrilled with, a lot of town council people came by thrilled. Our new the company that's writing our new POCD came by and was thrilled with what they're doing and wants to use us as one of their examples in terms when they're rewriting the POCD. So all of these energies would make a lot of good sense. I don't know, George, maybe do you know Dave Wright? He's the person who does all of the website for the town, I think.
No.
Am I right?
I do not.
Yeah, David's the right person.
Maybe he might be the one to ask that question of, if you'd like to contact him and see what he feels we could do as a committee. Could we have an email address just for Greenway Complete Streets information? The problem that I can see is that we are a legal committee that also essentially is voting on matters that come before the town in terms of our projects. If we mix that up with any kind of editorial, we could create a legal problem for the committee. So I don't know. He would be able to answer that in some kind of way. Jay might be able to answer that in some kind of way.
So Jay Habansky here. So you're looking for just one email, like info at, or one for everybody?
Well, no, one email that would be the committee, that would represent the committee.
Yeah, maybe like, complete streets or Greenway complete streets at townofstratford.com. Something, shorter, but.
Or an acronym, right? GS something.
I want to do acronym. Nobody's gonna know what it means. How about just Housatonic Greenway at townofstratford.com?
Well, you don't want to forget complete streets though, because it is tied together.
Someone is speaking.
Be a mouthful. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't speaking about a website. You just mentioned a website. I was talking about an email address.
Yeah, just email.
I understand, but that's
so
what I'm
I
saying.
can ask. I've had the zoning commission, a bunch of elected officials, request something similar, and the town has not granted that request. Not to say that they may not do it for you all, but I sit in your capacity in the town where I live doing these things and volunteering, and I've just created my own a separate Gmail account for the different committees that I'm on. And so, if you were unable to get one through the town, and I don't want to overpromise, but this just creating a simple Gmail, Stratford Complete Streets Committee at Gmail or something like that might be a good alternative. But I'll chase it down and see what they say.
When I created the Facebook pages, I did a Complete Streets and a Greenway Committee complete Facebook page. I did it because that was my only option that we could do.
Yep.
There's no reason why. I know from some of my other work that I've done, even in politics, we've managed to do multi-link sites with Twitter and Facebook and, fundraising and all of those things. So it can be done. I just think we need to apply it here for us. I just caution that you'll get a lot of blowback. If you'll notice, this is never political. This is never, it is always inclusive, townwide people working towards the good of the town. That's the only thing that I know is what we could do to get full support of everybody. That we have to make sure we keep that line very clear. Anybody else with a comment? Okay. I do know that sometime if things go as planned, last I spoke with Susmitha, there is going to be an initial meetings coming up early in the fall in which we will be asked to attend to begin the discussions on the Paradise Phase 2. That will be prior to the public versions of those happening. But that is where we really need to have whatever we're doing in terms of contacting multimodal riders, where we need to have that in place. So whatever we talked about today, we really need to keep moving on. It shouldn't just be a discussion point for August. If anybody wants to put in the energy, I think whatever we're doing can all be incorporated together, if that makes any sense. I do have a logo that you guys saw that we used. I have that as a PDF. So I think that being said, I don't know if is there anything else anybody would like to discuss? Do we need to vote on what people are doing, or can I just leave you? Tom, you're always good at your word. Nels, you've been very good at moving forward. So if we can leave you two guys to work and just copy Tom and Nels, just copy Aileen's complete list if you want to email the whole committee with information.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So hopefully we'll actually have something that we can discuss and vote on for the next meeting moving forward. Does that make sense? Is there anybody who's going to come on Thursday's ride? Okay, Karen, I'll miss you. Anybody else?
Little League, but I'm going to make one of these rides with my son one of these days. I promise.
This isn't the ride to bring him on though, because this has hills. I'll find a ride that he can go on. One of the rides coming up in August though is when we take the ride to Silver Sands. And that's a really good ride. Everybody planned on doing that. It's a long ride, but we stop several times. There's a place where we can have a Greek lunch right outside of Silver Sands, and it's a pretty ride. So the only awful part is going over the Devon Bridge, but we do it. We will do it. We leave from the Dock Shopping Center, which takes us away from the 95 traffic. So if you can't do any of them, try to do that one. That's it for me. I'm going away for 2 weeks, starting this coming Thursday, so I won't be around, but I will be, my email will be functioning. And when I hear something from Susmitha, when she gets back, I will ask her to email everybody with what information she has, what has been settled. I'll just make one final comment. You'd be very proud of all of the staff and people who spoke their truth to MetroCog and to the DOT during this last negotiating phase. I was proud to say I was a Stratfordite. So anyhow, will someone please give me a motion to close? George, anybody second that?
Motion to close.
I'll second.
I don't know who that was. Joseph, was that you?
It was me. It was Nels on the second. I don't know why my video went off.
Okay. Who was the first? Oh, George and Nels. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Be safe.
Aye.
Enjoy the summer
All right,
breeze.
thanks, Harold.